But what resources are being used within this society, and what are they being used for? Well, the biggest resource that is being used in China are fossil fuels, specifically coal, oils, and other natural gases. China is the world's largest consumer of coal, using around 4.94 billion metric tons a year. The country consumes around 16 million barrels of oil in one day, making China the second largest consumer of oil. Coal is mainly used to generate electricity, power the manufacturing and industrial sectors, and provide energy for transportation and heating. In China, oil is used to produce gasoline and other refined products for transportation. Another resource that's heavily used in China is rare earth materials, such as iron, antimony, and graphite. China is the biggest consumer in all three of these materials, consuming over 1.2 billion tons of iron ore each year, 281,000 tons of antimony a year, and over 1 million tons of graphite per year. These materials are typically used for high-tech consumer products such as cell phones and computer screens, clean energy technology like electric vehicles and wind turbines, as well as military applications such as powerful magnets for jet engines and weapon systems.
The materials that were used was barite, tungsten, lead, and zinc. This was used for drilling, manufacturing technology. Barite is used as a filter to increase the paint's density and brightness. It also produces other barium compounds used to make LED glass. Tungsten is used to convert it into tungsten carbide, which is a material for making wear-resistant cutting tools, drills, and mining machinery. Lead is used for the lead-acid batteries, which are essential for cars and other vehicles. Zinc is used as a protective covering for iron and steel to prevent rusting. The other resource was agriculture, specifically water and pesticides, which was used primarily for irrigation to grow crops including rice paddies that requires consistent water supply, and these pesticides are used to protect these crops from pests, weeds, and fungal diseases to ensure high yields and food security.
During the middle of COVID lockdown in 2022, China started to create new energy vehicles, which were meant to reduce their overall carbon emissions. Then, by the end of 2022, 77% of their public transport consisted of these new energy vehicles that mainly use electric energy or a hybrid of it. This has overall reduced their carbon emissions, leading to a slight decline in carbon release. Their goal is to curb peak carbon emissions by 2030 and reach carbon neutrality by 2060. They've also increased their investment in wind and solar energy.
When we look at ancient China and our world today, it's kind of surprising how similar they are. Back then, China's population was growing fast, and people were cutting down forests and expanding farmland to keep up with demand. That led to soil erosion, flooding, and water shortages, problems we still face today. Just like them, we depend heavily on our environment to fuel our economy and support our lifestyles. Both societies have had to balance growth with sustainability, and both have struggled to do it. The main difference is that now we actually know what happens when we ignore those warning signs. So, in a way, ancient China is a reflection of us, reminding us that if we don't manage our resources wisely, history can repeat itself.
China developed very quickly with lots of factories and big cities. This helped the economy, but it also caused heavy pollution, dirty air, and harm to the land and water. They used huge amounts of coal and resources without thinking about long-term damage. To live sustainably, we should learn from that. We need to use more clean energy like solar and wind instead of always burning coal and oil. We should protect our water by not wasting it and by keeping it clean. Recycling and reusing materials can also help with trash and pollution. We need to plan our cities and live in smarter ways where we think about our actions and how they affect nature and future generations.